Perfluorooctanoic acid, PFOA, commonly called C8 in the litigation literature, is an 8-carbon perfluorinated carboxylic acid used as a processing aid in manufacturing polytetrafluoroethylene, PTFE, trade name Teflon, and other fluoropolymers. It is highly persistent in the environment and in people, hence the label Forever Chemical. Internal documents and reporting compiled in media and documentary treatments show that DuPont and suppliers released large quantities of PFOA to air and water from its Parkersburg, West Virginia facility and elsewhere over decades. Studies and reporting estimate many hundreds of thousands to millions of pounds released handled across the 20th century. The phrase, "the devil we know," is drawn from internal discussion about continuing to use established chemicals despite risks. The Devil We Know, 2018. The documentary by Stephanie Suchtig brought mainstream attention to the Parkersburg story, highlighting worker and community narratives, internal documents, and the arc from industrial use to public debate. It's useful as an accessible synthesis of the social, legal, and ethical dimensions. It was April of 1980. Bailey, an entry-level operator at the DuPont's plant in Parkersburg, West Virginia, was moved to the Teflon unit, where she came in contact with fumes from perfluorooctanoic acid, also known as PFOA or C8, the chemical that gives Teflon its non-stick properties. 9 months later, Bailey's son, Bucky, was born with facial deformities. Many doctors told her they had never seen anything like it before and were not sure he would survive. By his mid-30s, he has endured 30 surgeries. Litigation, settlements, and policy outcomes. Early legal action and settlement. A major class action, the C8 litigation against DuPont, led to a complex settlement and the creation of the C8 Science Panel. DuPont and related entities later reached multi-hundred-million-dollar settlements to resolve aspects of the litigation and remediation obligations. For example, reporting in local press documented settlement agreements worth on the order of hundreds of millions of dollars tied to C8 claims. EPA and enforcement. The U.S. EPA has been involved in enforcement and negotiated actions related to PFOA/PFAS releases over the last 2 decades. Agency actions and civil penalties have been part of the regulatory response. Corporate restructuring and successor firms. DuPont's corporate reorganizations, spin-offs such as Chemours, have complicated liability, remediation, and insurance recovery, and litigation over responsibility has continued into the 2020s. Recent court orders and citizen suits have targeted ongoing discharges at legacy facilities, e.g., Washington Works, indicating that legal and remediation activity remains active. Current scientific and regulatory landscape. Phase-outs and replacements. Many manufacturers phased out long-chain PFAS like PFOA, U.S. and global phase-outs in the 2000s to the 2010s. However, replacements, shorter-chain PFAS, Gen X, and alternatives, have raised fresh concerns about persistence and toxicity. Ongoing litigation and controls. New suits, enforcement actions, and state-level limits continue. Remediation of affected sites and drinking water supplies remains an active public health and engineering challenge. Recent judicial orders have required immediate cessation of unlawful discharges at some facilities. What the Parkersburg/C8 story taught us: lessons for chemists, policymakers, and industry. Proactive hazard assessment matters. Long-lived bioaccumulative chemistries can create multi-generational liabilities, even when functional benefits are large. transparency plus independent science. The C8 settlement created independent science, the science panel, that provided credible health findings, an approach that influenced how subsequent PFAS cases were handled. Regulation lags commercial use. Industry phase-outs often occur after scientific or legal pressure, not in advance of widespread exposure. Remediation is hard and expensive. Once PFAS are in groundwater/soil, technical solutions at scale are costly and technically challenging. This creates long remediation timetables and ongoing public health concerns.